Hello students. So now we will study about spot checking. In the previous class we have studied about no inspection and in the topic how much to inspect. We have studied no inspection and 100% inspection. Next topic is spot checking. Spot checking means inspecting a few pieces as and when there is time, or as and when management thinks something needs to be inspected, and consists of inspecting random shipments or production. There is no scientific basis for selecting a few samples for inspection. It all depends on the available time for inspection or mood of the person performing the inspection. This option is an attempt at a compromise between no inspection at all and 100% inspection. This procedure, of course, stops some defective material from entering a production or some defective products from reaching customers, but it is only partially effective since many shipments are accepted without inspection. Therefore, this is also not a practical option. So in the previous class we have studied about no inspection and 100% inspection. If no inspection is done, then that is a bad thing, and 100% inspection will be monotonous and will be routine for the testing manager or quality control operator, and it will become tedious for the process, and it is 100% inspection is 80% effective, so it is not 100% effective. So no inspection and 100% inspection we have studied in the last class. Now we will study about spot checking. So just now I have read the paragraph. It's not stop checking, it's spot checking. Spot checking means, suppose you see a blow room line and hundreds of laps are formed, and in the hundreds of laps you find out the 22nd lap, 37th lap, 49th lap, 66th lap, and 86th lap, and 97th lap, for example. So out of 100 laps means blow room final product. So blow room, what is the blow room final product? It is lap. So out of 100 laps you have selected few laps randomly spot. This is called spot checking. So it depends on the mood of the quality operator, and it depends on the time available for the quality operator for checking the laps. So spot checking depends on the mood of the person performing the inspection and available time for inspection. Suppose quality personnel or quality operator has to do complete checking of blow room, cording, draft frame, ring frame, comber, and all these things, then the available time for checking is less. So, and if there is lot of work, the mood of the operator, quality personnel will not be good. So spot checking depends on available time of the worker and mood of the worker, and spot checking, therefore it is also not feasible, not practicable, and not a practical option. So far we have studied in how much to inspect. We have studied no inspection, 100% inspection, and spot checking, and now we will study about arbitrary sampling. Under this option, a certain percent of shipment or production is inspected, and an accept, reject, or pass fail decision regarding that shipment or production is made based on the inspection results of that certain percent of the shipment. So that means there is a shipment containing, for example, computers. So in the 100 computers, 10% of the computers are tested and they are accepted or rejected. That means out of the shipment of 100 computers or laptops, 10 of them are checked or inspected for pass, fail, or accept, reject decision. And if the 10 out of 10 computers all the 10 are bad, then that shipment or lot is cancelled, because all the 10 are defective, those are checked. Suppose out of 10 only one is defective and 9 are okay, then that lot may be accepted. So the acceptance or rejection of depends on the percentage of checking. So I have already told you, it is the most popular or widely used plan under this alternative is called 10% sampling. This means that regardless of the size of the shipment or production, 10% of the shipment is inspected and the results are used as the basis for a decision regarding the entire shipment or production. So 10% sampling. So what does it mean by arbitrary sampling? Arbitrary means not complete. That's what the meaning of arbitrary. So arbitrary means, so 10% sampling. Suppose 100,000 fabrics are produced. What is the 10% of 1000? 100. So 100 fabrics are inspected, and out of this is called 10% sampling. Percentage. I hope all of you know about the word meaning of the word or percentage. And 10% means out of 100, 10 samples are tested, and out of 1000, 100 samples are checked or inspected or tested. These are synonymous words: checked, inspected, and testing. Testing is also kind of inspection. So 10% sampling means out of 1000 fabrics produced, 100 fabrics are tested for out of the 1000 lot. 10% sampling means 100 fabrics are tested for quality, and out of 100, 90 of them are good, then the lot may be accepted, or 100 if they are 100. It depends on company to company whether to accept the shipment on the basis of 10% sampling or not. Although this option is better than the previous three options, it still has some drawbacks. So this is better than no inspection, 100% inspection, and spot checking. Those are the first three inspection methods, and but this arbitrary sampling is better than the first three options, but it has also its own faults. For some shipments or lots, 10% is too small a sample to be representative, whereas for other shipments or lots it may be too large. So you understand, 10% sampling is too good for something, it is too bad for something. So 10% of pens is okay maybe, but 10% of computers may not be good. So that's what the author says. The 10% is too small a sample to be representative. So 10% sampling is too small a representative for the other shipments. So what does that mean? So check 20%. That's what the author means. So 10% sampling is too small means so we need to go for higher level of percentage of sampling. Also, as with any sampling, certain risks of making a wrong decision exist. Such wrong decision can be to accept a shipment or lot when it should be rejected, and to reject a shipment or lot when it should be accepted. Such a wrong decision can be very expensive. Too often, the users of arbitrary sampling have little or no idea of the risks inherent in their procedure, but at least will have some idea about product or material quality. However, there is a better way to gather such information, and it is statistical sampling. So arbitrary sampling means, depending on the 10% sampling, you may reject a lot or you may accept a lot. So if the 10% sampling, in the 10% sampling you may have rejected a good lot, and the vice versa is you may have accepted a bad lot. So this is the problem with arbitrary sampling. That's why the definition of, that's why we got into new thing, that is statistical sampling. So statistical sampling is the final one in how much to inspect. In the how much to inspect, statistical sampling. So we have so far studied no inspection, 100% inspection, spot checking, arbitrary sampling, and now we study about statistical sampling. This inspection option also provides a compromise between 100% inspection and no inspection at all. Still, it has certain distinct advantages. Large shipments or lots are not over inspected. Small shipments or lots are not under inspected. And most important, the risks or probabilities of making a wrong decision, such as accepting a defective lot or rejecting a good lot, are known and uncontrollable. Are known and controllable. The number of samples selected for inspection has a scientific basis, as we will see later in the chapter on statistical sampling. So this is just introduction. The author has not yet come to the statistical sampling. So next para. This is usually, we are talking about statistical sampling. This is usually the most practical and economical means for determining product quality. Statistical sampling has the advantage of flexibility with regard to the amount of inspection to be performed at any given time, depending on the importance of the product and apparent product quality. So it has an advantage of flexibility with regard to amount of inspection. Flexibility regarding amount of inspection. Although statistical sampling is generally superior to the previous four options that are used without reference to the loss of probability, whenever a portion of shipment or lot submitted for inspection is defective, some defective pieces are likely to be accepted or passed by statistical sampling plan. Under a statistical sampling procedures, there are several sampling plans available. The risks associated with those sampling plans, probabilities of acceptance and rejection can be calculated, and then it is possible to choose a sampling plan that provides the desired degree of production probability of with due consideration for the various costs involved. So statistical sampling is equally applicable to incoming inspections of shipments of raw materials or partially finished products at various stages of manufacture, and finished products as well as outgoing shipment. Statistical sampling is discussed at length in separate chapter entitled Statistical Sampling. The discussion of inspection in this chapter is divided into the following these three sections: raw material inspection, in-process inspection, and final inspection. So the author talks about statistical sampling in the next chapter. So there is a separate chapter for statistical sampling. So there we will clearly learn about statistical sampling. Basically, statistical sampling is a sampling technique depending on the statistics, probabilities of finding out a defect item or finding out a good quality item, probabilities, and Statistical sampling deals with probabilities and risks involved in taking the risks involved in the judgment based on the probabilities. So there are three types of inspection: raw material inspection, in process inspection, and final inspection. So please try to understand this. Raw material inspection, in process inspection, final inspection. By the three definitions itself we understand. Suppose for spinning industry or for garment industry, the raw material is if the fabric that is to be sewn into garment. So that is, the fabric is the raw material. And in process inspection, what is in process inspection? While creating a or manufacturing a or tailoring a garment, the process, that is during the process of construction of the garment, the inspection is done, then it is known as in process inspection. While the process is going on, we inspect the things. So that is in process inspection. And the third one is final inspection. After the garment is completely produced, then we check for the faults or defects or non-conformance. So this is known as final inspection. So raw material inspection, in that we have fabric inspection, 4-point grading, fabric grading system, correlation between fabric quality and apparel quality, sewing threads, zippers, avoiding zipper problems, handling and processing zipper, shear, slider holder, bottom stop, hump, popping, waistband. So this is known as in process inspection. Buttons, buckles and snap fasteners, and these are all interlinings. This is called as raw material inspection. So raw material inspection has so many topics. And in process inspection, in the in process inspection we have marker making, spreading, cutting, sewing, and fusing, screen printing, embroidery, pressing and finishing. And after that we have final inspection. In the final inspection we have only diagrams. So here we will see, finally inspect the fabric with the help of quality inspector, and the qualities and duties and responsibilities of quality inspector, qualification requirements, sample training plan for quality inspector, and comparability checks, and standard operating procedure for comparability checks. And we have some definition of fabric defects and workmanship. So this we will talk right now. So dear students, please understand that we have 3 topics now we have to cover in today's class and next class, tomorrow's class. That is raw material inspection, in process inspection and final inspection. In the in process, in the raw material inspection, we have fabric inspection, 1 fabric inspection, 2 4-point fabric grading system, correlation between fabric quality and apparel quality, sewing threads that are used for this, zippers, slider, shear, sewing, fly surging, popping, chemical degradation, buttons, buckles and snap fasteners, and interlinings. So dear students, in the fabric inspection itself we have 7 to 10 topics to cover. So one by one we will study fabric inspection, and then in process inspection, and then final inspection. So coming to raw material inspection, in that first topic, fabric inspection. After fabric is received, it should be inspected to determine its acceptability from a quality viewpoint. Otherwise, extra costs in garment manufacturing may be incurred due to either the loss of the material or time, to say nothing of customer returns and dissatisfaction due to poor quality. Some garment manufacturers rely on their fabric suppliers to perform fabric inspection and mark fabric defects. So dear students, we are going into fabric inspection. So fabric is the raw material for garment industry, and some garment industries rely on fabric sellers and they depend on the fabric companies. If the fabric quality is not good, then the garment industry may incur extra costs in developing the good quality fabric or checking the fabrics for good quality. So how the fabric is inspected? Fabric inspection should be accomplished soon after fabric shipment is received and before it is added to the inventory. Inventory means stock. A good practice is not to officially accept fabric shipment until it passes inspection. The shipment will not show up in the apparel manufacturer's inventory, and the fabric supplier will not be paid until the fabric shipment is inspected and passes the inspection. So dear students, please understand this para. Fabric supplier will not be paid until it is inspected and accepted by the apparel company and it is added to the inventory of the apparel manufacturer's inventory. Some manufacturers inspect fabric. So what does it mean? Is the raw material is fabric. As soon as the raw material comes, as soon as the fabric comes, it must be inspected for good quality, and only if the fabric passes the quality checks or inspection checks, then only it will be added to the apparel manufacturer's inventory. Otherwise it will be rejected. So this is about raw material inspection. First point. Some manufacturers inspect fabric while spreading it on the cutting table. There are three distinct disadvantages of this practice. So, how it is inspected? It is inspected by spreading the fabric on the table. What are its disadvantages? It slows down the spreading operation because after spreading each layer of fabric must be inspected or fabric is inspected as it is spread. So what does it mean? Each fabric layer should be spread out on the cutting table and it slows down the process. Since the fabric is on the cutting table, there will not be any light going through the fabric, which will result in some fabric defects not readily visible to the inspector. If it is inspected on a on a table, then because of the light problem, there may be some defects which will not be observed by the inspector. They are not visible to the inspector. Should there be third point? Should there be lot of problems with quality of the fabric being spread and readied for cutting, it will delay production because arrangements will have to be made for another shipment of fabric, because sufficient number of garments cannot be produced from the current stock of fabric, as some fabric will be wasted in cutting around these defects. Suppose there are lot of defects in the fabric, then it will delay the process. It will delay the production because arrangements will have to be made for another shipment. So this is about fabric inspection, cutting on the table. Since fabric inspection prior to spreading will remove the burden of quality responsibility from those performing the spreading and cutting function, a spreader will be able to concentrate on spreading more quickly without having to worry about inspecting the fabric. So this is about fabric inspection and on the table. And we have fabric inspection machines, so where they can be inspected, and there are five fabric grading systems as listed below. There are 5 grading systems as listed below. For fabric inspection, we have 5 methods, and they are 4-point system, granite Ville system, Dalla system, 10-point system, revised, 10-point system, 4-point system, revised. So these are the 5 things. So these are the 5 points. 4-point system, there are 5 fabric grading systems as listed below. 4-point system, also known as Knitted Textile Association and Textile Distributors Association. This fabric grading system came into existence since 1962. Granite Ville system. This system was developed by the Granite Ville mills in 1975. Dalla system. This system came into existence in 1971. 10-point system. The system is also known as Textile Distributors Institute and National Federation of Textile System and came into existence in 1955. 4-point system revised, also known as the Knitted Textile Association and Textile Distributors Association system. This fabric inspection system resulted from the revision in 1971 of the original 4-point system that was published in 1962. So dear students, please understand this. 5 fabric grading systems are there. In that, 4-point system is developed in 1962, and it is after that it is remodeled, revised, remodified into in 1971. This is 4-point system. Two things. 4-point system is 1962, 4-point system in revised one in 1971. And the next one is granite village system, that is 1975, and Dallas system, this is 1971, and 10-point system is developed in 1955. So dear students, so far we have studied regarding, coming in the next class we will be talking about 4-point system. So far we have studied inspection. What does the term mean inspection means, and what is a defect, what is the non-conformance to the defect, and what is the main objective of the inspection, and corrective action and preventive action, and the loop, inspection loop. So inspection loop, I will tell you one more time. Inspection is detection of defects, feedback of these defects to appropriate personnel, determination of causes of defects, correction of the defects. So this is the loop cycle, inspection loop. So first we will find out the detection of defects. First we will find out the defects, and then after that feedback of these defects to appropriate personnel. So defects are found, then what should we do? We should inform or give feedback to the appropriate personnel, whether they are production managers or factory manager or quality manager or whoever it is. After that, the quality personnel or production personnel will find out the determination of causes of defects. So they will find out the causes of defects, why the cause has come, what is the reason for defect. Suppose if a button is built into a garment and it is not properly stitched, for example, then the cause of the defect should be found out. What is the cause of the defect? Because of the sewing machine is not working properly. And what is the problem in sewing machine? Needle is not working properly. Then we have to correction of the defects, we have to correct the defects. So the needle should be repaired in the sewing machine and then reproduced, reproduced, and then inspection is done again, and then this cycle goes on. So this is known as inspection loop. And after that we have studied about how much to inspect. So how much to inspect? So in this how much to inspect, so whether we have to check 100% samples or 10% samples or 0% samples or spot checking or statistical sampling. So this is the 5 things that we have studied in how much to inspect. How much to inspect means inspection should be done. How much inspection should be done? That is the point. Whether you are testing 100 fabrics, whether you are testing 1 fabric out of 100, whether you are testing 0% of the 100 fabrics, whether you are testing 10%, whether you are testing 100%, whether you are testing spot checking, like depending on the mood of the quality personnel, or statistical sampling. Statistical sampling we will study in the next later chapters. And after that, the inspection is divided into 3 topics: raw material inspection, in process inspection, and final inspection. So raw material inspection, in that fabric inspection, so the shipment will be, the shipment of the fabric will be saved in apparel manufacturer's inventory only after proper inspection. After inspection is done and after the all the shipment of the fabrics goes to the inventory, then only the fabric supplier will be paid money. So that is known as fabric inspection, first topic. And then we have in the raw material inspection, we have 5 topics. We will study about the 4-point system in the next class. So we have 5 fabric grading systems as listed below. 4-point system, granite village system. 4-point system 1962. 4-point system 1971. Granite village system 1975. Dallas system 1971. 10-point system is developed in 1965. And so far we have studied about all these things. And in the first 4 classes we have studied quality and grade, subjective sampling, objective sampling, 8 dimensions of quality. And quality means absence of variation. Quality means what are the definitions of quality given by various dictionaries and Dr. Garvin and others. And 8 dimensions of quality we have studied the 8 dimensions of quality. They are performance, features, serviceability, durability, conformance, and other things. So please read carefully. I have already told you all these things. And what is the definition of quality? Quality definition means absence of variation. So, and another definition is meeting the customer specification. That is another definition of quality. And the other definition of quality is exceeding the customer expectation. Meeting or exceeding the customer expectations. In that we have studied, suppose 100 is the quality level that we have to achieve, and if it is achieved 99%, then it is below quality, and if it is 100 it is normal. If it is 101, 102 quality levels, then it means exceeding the customer expectations. So that we have studied. And then after that we have studied about perceived quality and structural integrity and power of appeal and aesthetic features. I hope you all remember all these topics. So I am doing revision, so please understand that power of appeal and aesthetic features and structural integrity. Structural integrity leads to aesthetic appearance, and aesthetic appearance leads to power of appeal, and that will increase the quality of the product. So we have covered a very lot in these 4-5 classes, all about quality. And quality means value enhancement. Quality means not just defect reduction. Defect reduction means, suppose you bought a cell phone and there are no defects. That's okay, that's 100% of fabric, 100% cell phone. But what is value enhancement? How do you increase the value of the cell phone? By increasing the RAM, or by increasing the memory, or by increasing the look of the cell phone. Some cell phones you have seen, they will be marvelous and with edges, cutting edges, and the appeals will be very good, whereas some cell phones are not. So this is called value enhancement. how do you increase the value of the fabric, how do you, and for increasing the value you may have to incur extra cost, but that is another case. So hopefully you have understood all these things. So value enhancement is another topic that we have studied, and objective and subjective aspects of quality we have studied. Subjective aspects of quality means what? Subjective aspect, what is it? It depends on individuals, it depends on persons, it depends on individuals, it depends on persons. Objective aspect of quality is it does not depend on persons, it do not depend on persons. For example, tensile strength of fabric is, if it is measured on a machine by Sheila or by Leela or by Rudra, whatever it may be, the name, whatever the name may be, the tensile strength will be 100. Whoever the individual tests the fabric. Whereas subjective aspect of quality is, it is a quality, it is depends on, suppose a saree is good, some X will like it and Y will not like it, and Z will say it is excellent saree, and because of this is known as subjective assessment or subjective aspect of quality. So dear students, now in the next class we will study about 4-point system. So please listen to the classes carefully so that we will understand about 4-point grading system very well. And so that's for today class. Next class we will see about